great to see you all. I would personally like to welcome each and every one of you to the Dominican Red Cross press conference. This is an exciting time for the DRC as we continue to grow and adapt and remain always adaptable, motivated, and responsive to the Dominican population. I would like to extend a warm welcome to the following media houses, so CBN 4 News, and without further ado, I would like to introduce you all to the panel of speakers today. So starting all the way on my right, we will start with Mr. Omar Robinson of the IFRC as the Acting Operations Manager of the Dominican Red Cross. Following him, you have Dr. Jocelyn Salmon of the IFRC as the Acting General Director of the Dominican Red Cross. Then following him, of course, you have Mr. Philip White, the President of the Dominican Red Cross. And joining us today from the government, we have Mrs. Helen Royer, PS of the Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs. And of course, I am Kenise McLeod-Shillingford, Communications Volunteer at the DRC. So, just a brief rundown. Our organization is confronting a time of many changes, and we're meeting these changes during a time of a large nationwide and global change. So the world of Red Cross is an exciting area in which to work, and we'll continue to meet and bring inspired people together in forums like this to ensure that the DRC remains at the cutting edge. So we are transforming the way we operate to continuously improve our ability to respond in time of need and emergencies. Our organization, volunteers and donors, have continued to meet the challenges of our field and have excelled despite setbacks of Hurricane Maria. We are all very proud of where we are today and excited about where we are heading.
I have two members of DFID who have been here all week, or a couple of days this week with us. And I'd like to recognize Mr. Andrew Wheatley and Mrs. Simone Bannister. We thank you for being here. I'd also like to recognize with us the Permanent Secretary, Mrs. Helen Royer of the Ministry of Social Services. We have been talking on the phone, so it's nice to see you this evening in person. I want to recognize our volunteers who might be in the room as well, and especially want to thank the media for being here. You are a vehicle for transferring the information that we have to the public, and so we appreciate you being here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to be here with you this evening. I'm here in the capacity as Acting Director General of the Dominican Red Cross, and I want to thank Mr. Philip White, President of the Dominican Red Cross, and the Federation for inviting me to be here to assist in the rebuilding effort. I am a Caribbeanist, and so when a sister Caribbean island calls for help, I have an obligation and a commitment to respond to that call. I am from Jamaica, and so I'm here to assist. I wish to use this opportunity to answer just a few questions that I anticipate you may have. In the first place, who am I? I'm Jocelyn Salmon. I'm past president and current vice president of the Jamaica Red Cross and past international vice president of the Federation. Why am I here? I'm here because the call has been made to come and assist, to address some issues related to the Dominican Red Cross, and to help in the rebuilding and the continued response to the Hurricane Maria episode. What's my objective? My objective is to use my organizational skills to help to reestablish the structures of the organization and make it as functional as we want it to be. What's my timeline? I have a limited timeline. I have until June to do all that I need to do. That's the time that we have in mind, and we will see to what extent we can meet that. We have no guarantee that we'll meet it, but we plan to do all we can to meet it. I would like to complete it before June. So we'll see what happens. Where do we go from here? Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, media, I want to say to you that it is our objective, and I'm speaking on behalf of the President and of the organization, it is our objective that at the end of this press conference, we will have set the stage for a renewed and vigorous relationship with between the Dominican Red Cross on the one hand, and the government and the people of Dominica on the other hand. It is my hope that after I have completed my task over the next few months, we will have begun with a reinvigorated Dominican Red Cross, well prepared to hold the hands of people in Dominica and to carry out our auxiliary role as vibrant a manner as can be. We look forward to answering your questions at the end of this press conference. I thank you for being here, and we hope that all will go well, and at the end you will have had the questions you have answered. Thank you very much.
Hurricane Maria operation here in Dominica. I would like to give you a quick update on what is the operation at this point. In terms of the operation, we have served file. You can see, please, the presentation. During this response, since the onset of the emergency operation, the Dominican Red Cross Society, with the support of the International Federation and our network of donors, we have the fortune of having one of our donors here, so from the DFID organization. We are providing essential support to all the needs and the people affected in the Dominica aftermath of Hurricane Maria. The support that we provide was included non-food items. We also provide shelter materials, provision of safe water and hygiene promotion. We also do restoring of family links at the initial stage of the operation. Because of the lack of communication, we support with family links, where we provide telephone calls to all the affected population in terms of getting information out to their families in terms that they were in good conditions and there was nothing affecting them at that point. We also support the community in terms of psychological support, and we are doing the terms of cash transfer program activities for the emergency phase. We, in the Federation, we have 2 stages for an operation at this magnitude. The first one is the relief phase, that we already ended that phase. At this moment, we are not providing relief items to the population unless that we find an urgent need for this support. We are now entering into the recovery phase. Okay, so let me give you a quick overview of what have we done up to now. We launched an emergency appeal to our donors and our brothers, national societies of the Red Cross around the world, and we were seeking initially an estimate of 5,113,000,000 of Swiss francs for this operation. Fortunately, we go over that amount by doing 5,322,000 Swiss francs, and our appeal is 100% coverage. So we have enough support from our brothers, national societies, to come into this operation and support the Dominica population in terms of our plan of action. Our target is to do 5,000 households, that represent 15,000 people. This 5,000 households, at the first stage, we were targeting the most affected and with relief items. Now in the recovery phase, we are going into a more detailed assessment in terms of technical aspect of shelter. We are also conducting water and sanitation detailed assessment. We are doing our cash transfer program. We continue to do our cash transfer program, but in terms of recovery. And we are also continue to do psychological support to the population that is affected. In total, at this point, until the 15th of January, the Dominica Red Cross with 2 water treatment plants have produced 540,000 liters of water per day. Up to now, sorry, they were conducting like 20,000 liters of water per day. And that's the amount of water that we produce up to now. We are working in coordination with DAWASCO in terms of the areas that the DAWASCO do not establish the water system. We are supporting and providing safe water to the population until when DAWASCO replenish the system totally. Right now we are working in Dodans, and we are also doing an assessment to start to work in Delice at this point. In total, we have served in water and sanitation a total of 2,771 households. They have received hygiene promotion and key messages of hygiene practices that should be observed during this period of time. We also, in shelter up to now, without starting our recovery phase, we served 4,246 households in terms of relief items, in terms of shelter kits. We provide some construction materials to the most affected population. And also, we are providing technical support of the way how they should install the tarpaulins in their homes during the emergency phase. Now we are moving into recovery, and we are going to start our roof repair program in the area of Dominica that we will explain in more details in a minute. In our cash transfer program, go back please. In our cash transfer program, we have served up to now. We have to update these figures because these figures is up to the 15th of January. We are at the 15th of January, we had 818 households were served with our cash transfer. That consists on a cash grant of $450 for household. But actually, as of this date, we achieved the amount of 942 households served with our cash transfer program. Okay, so continue. The shelter plan. We are planning to reconstruct fully roofs and partially roofed that were part of the population. Our areas of implementation will be the full parish of St. Luke and St. Mark. We are going to work in the St. George parish, but in the villages that are outside the urban setting. And we are also working in the parish of St. Joseph, precisely in the Layou village, and where we are starting our pilot project in Layou, in which we have, up to now, we repaired 27 roofs in Layou. Part of this implementation that we did in Layou was initially because we had a school in Layou that had 15 families that were staying in a school as a shelter. So what we did in terms that we emptied that shelter so students of that school could start their school during this year, we bring out those people and we do their roofs. And up to that, we have a total amount that we want to do in Layou of 45 households in Layou up to now. We are in the process of completing that amount. And in the parish of St. Paul, we are going to do in the communities of Cochrane, Campbell, Pierre, Pom Ripo, and coordination with other agencies. All what we are doing it complete in coordination with other agencies, with the village councils, the local authorities, and our community disaster teams in the different communities. File, please, next. Our shelter implementation will be mainly concentrated in the community engagement. We want to engage the community to participate in this plan. We are doing joint assessment with all the sectors in terms that we support the affected population, not only in terms of roof repairs, but also in terms of of psychological support, water and sanitation, and also cash, unconditional cash grant that we can support the population in those areas. We are also providing technical assistance by identification of carpenters, which are going to be trained, and will be, after that, they will be an asset for the community because they will become more skilled and they will continue to do this support to the community. We are going to do a distribution of Build Back Safer messages. We have a brochure that we will share with you in terms of Build Back Safer. We also have a design of the roof by our local technical staff. And this construction will be supervised following the government standards. We are following the building codes of the government, and in which we want to completely comply with that requirement from the government. Next, please. You are also doing tiered assistance distribution of quality materials of the beneficiary. Our materials all are coming from abroad. We are providing quality materials to repair the structures, the roof, and that will be in coordination with the local technical staff. We are having a discussion with the government, with other actors in terms that we comply with all the regulations established by the shelter working group. We are going to work in terms of provision of labor for selected families depending on the vulnerability level. What we have in this approach that we want to do community engagement, we will have some households that we identify as our beneficiaries, that because they are elderly persons, that they cannot go on and support us in the construction of or rehabilitation of their roof, then we will provide the labor for those population. And on the other hand, we will also have people that will be our beneficiaries that will be cooperating in terms of providing labor to our technical staff that will be trained and will be implementing the repairing of their own roofs. We also did the market development by making an assessment of the market locally. We did a complete assessment of the local market, and we are procuring from the local market the available materials that we can find in the island. So we want to also support the local market with all implementation that we are doing. And also we want to develop the livelihood component for carpenters that after we finish this project, they can build a business in terms that we are going to give them training and capacity to become more skilled, and that they will increase their livelihood support. Next, please. Our beneficiary criteria coverage. It's important that you all know that even though that we have the amount of money that we are selecting only the most vulnerable people, and we have a criteria for that. Our core criteria is that we are looking in terms of shelter for the roof that are fully destroyed or partially destroyed, okay, as a result of Hurricane Maria. We are also looking at damaged houses or apartments that are primary residence of the beneficiary. Our additional criteria related to the shelter is a combination of their economical status, the vulnerability status in terms of if there are the number of children that are living in the household, elderly people, ill people, disability, and also mothers with that are pregnant, women that are pregnant, and also people that are unemployed. Also, we are in coordination with the existing safety nets that we coordinate with the government and other actors in terms that we don't duplicate the efforts that are already being in place by the government. And also we are taking in consideration if these beneficiaries had received any prior assistance from us or from other organizations or from the government. The total coverage, we are estimating to do 1,000 households in terms of roof repairs. But this total coverage will depend on the type of coverage that we find when we are starting to do our work. Our target is to do houses by 8 by 7 square meters size, but we will find some that are smaller, some that are bigger, so that will depend on the amount of material that we use for each one of the repairing of the roofs. Next, please. Then, in terms of our cash transfer program, our first phase that ended yesterday, we did a total of 100 households. We distributed a Visa card. This is a prepaid card that we unload with $450 US. And we advise the population that the total amount in EC dollars is 1,200 EC dollars. So because of the regulation, we advise that they do two withdrawal of that amount of money in terms that they can be safe, that they don't lose their money in terms of other transactions. Why I want to clarify this is that this is not a normal ATM card. These have huge amount of tax and charges, international charges. So that's why we are clearing to the people that they have to do only 2 withdrawals of this amount. The first one, 1,000 EC dollars. The second one, 200 EC dollars. And this, we also have, our criteria is for people that lose their house, for families that have kids, pregnant women, elderly people, people with disabilities or special needs. And we have practically trying to target another 1,000 families for the next phase, for the recovery phase. This is in terms of our cash transfer program. Next, please. What is going to happen? Up to now, we have 942 cards distributed. In terms of the amount of household that was assisted, we have provided more than 400,000 US dollars for the first phase. And right now, we have 82% of implementation of rate in the first phase of the cash grant distribution. Next, please. What is going to happen from February on up to March? We are going to do another 1,000 households that will receive the same amount, 450 US dollars. We are also looking in another system in terms of cash for work to repair roofs in coordination with the shelter sector. And we want to widen our scope of intervention in terms of La Hue, Point Michel, St. Luc, Scott's Head, and St. Mark.
We have partnered as the Ministry of Social Services, Family and Gender Affairs. You know that our main focus is reaching the vulnerable in our society and responding to their needs. And we know, especially with the passage of any disaster, be it a hurricane, the Ministry of Social Services is being stretched to the point where we really look forward to partnerships like that of the Red Cross. And prior to even the hurricane, we have been able to partner with the Dominican Red Cross in responding to that need. And it became greater with the passage of Maria, when many of our persons were displaced. And we found comfort coming to the Dominican Red Cross. Actually, I know they saw me here many times, or maybe our referrals, we would send persons to the Dominican Red Cross. We were able to receive many of the supplies that maybe would have been more difficult for families. And we intend to continue that same kind of partnership with the new maybe leadership. I actually spoke to Dr. Salmon, and I have drafted a letter to him looking forward to maybe that continued assistance, which we will always be looking forward to. And it's a pleasure to work with the Dominican Red Cross, and I've really had a very good relationship with the previous persons who worked at the Red Cross, and I'm looking forward as the permanent secretary in the ministry to have that same relationship, and more so the population that really, is displaced at this time, that they will continue to get the necessary support. So I wish you all well. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. Definitely, I totally agree. We have this approach with the government in terms of coordination what are we going to do there? So no matter that the population have to be relocated because it's a zone that is very dangerous for the population, we are coordinating because they still have needs in terms of that. Maybe we're not going to do construction. We are not doing construction, we are doing roof repairs. So they are going to be there so for a long time before they are relocated. For that time being, we are going to provide them some type of shelter for them to be at least dry until when they are relocated to another place.
So before we close, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for attending our press conference and bringing your expertise to our gathering. You as Dominicans have the vision, the knowledge, the wherewithal, and the experience to help us pave our way into the future. You are truly our greatest asset today and tomorrow, and we could not accomplish anything that we do without your support. So our personal respect and thanks to all of you guys. Also, please do not forget, we do need volunteers at the DRC and qualified individuals who are willing to serve on the board of the Dominican Red Cross. And remember, when you join the Red Cross movement, you gain a worldwide family, you gain work experience and many opportunities for training and learning something new. So don't forget, help to build back your nation and let us build up stronger. Yes?